Welcome to School of Management Sciences.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
How was your experience at conference? How do you see this initiative by School of Management Sciences, Center for Spiritualism and Human Enrichment?
I'm really delighted, what some of the leading institutes have failed to do is something you people are doing. And also I'm delighted to know that you have been doing it from 1999.
Sir.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And you started early, so you are proactive. So today, you are becoming a lot more relevant. Now the whole world is looking up to institutions like yours, who are going to show the rest of the world, how to change the management curriculum, how to change human minds, how to make people better. I think, in many ways, SMS is doing an excellent job. It's a wonderful initiative.
Sir, how do you define spiritualism? What actually spirituality means to you?
Yeah, this is, people have taken different kinds of definitions. So, but I don't believe in very complex kind of definitions. To me, to find the meaning of your life, the entire search process is spirituality. Now, quite often people don't really undertake this journey of finding the meaning of your life. Who are you? Why are you here in this world? I think once you start asking these questions, you are already into the path of spirituality. It's not a question of going away and then doing some tapas in Himalaya that makes you spiritual. Of course, that is one of the approaches. But to me, basically, I think the day you start asking yourself, who am I? Why am I here? And then what am I supposed to do? Then a lot of things start falling in place. So spirituality is pretty simple. It's not even about mukti, moksha, finding the God and so on and so forth. But the start of the journey, it's a journey that is about spirituality. So then, I don't think there are many people who attain that nirvana, the mukti, what you're talking about. But one has to begin somewhere. Till death we keep improving, becoming better and better human being. And in the process, there are different levels. You have Jesus or Buddha or Krishna. These are very highly enlightened souls. So that journey itself is spirituality to me.
But world is actually bursting at seams with so many isms. There are so many isms coming. So don't you think there is a risk of spiritualism again falling into that trap and becoming an ism which people are following, and it becomes a dogmatic thing instead of being something which is enlightening?
That's a risk which is always there. So that is why quite a few people look at it as a dualistic thing. So if you keep materialism and spiritualism as two different things, or two opposing kind of things, then of course you are going to be in trouble. But the point is, if you integrate it into your life, then actually you can make a lot of meaning out of that. Unfortunately, today, that itself has become, you are perfectly right, that it's fashionable to talk about spirituality. Western universities are all getting into this in a big way. So they'll package it, it will become another cult, another ism, and another this one, etc. So that's why, for example, it has to touch your heart. It's not about your mind. Mm-hmm. So intellectually, if you try to understand spirituality, then that's fine. That's one part of the study, which is also needed because you document it for the benefit of others, you do it. But I think a lot more important is spirituality has to be from within. It has to be, everyone has to find for himself or herself. Now there could be gurus, there could be different people who could initiate you into that. So there's nothing wrong in these isms also. There are so many cults which have come up. So the Brahma Kumaris, if you take, it's a wonderful outfit. But again, you cannot say that that's the only way. Okay. Now the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, they did a lot of things. Now what is that? This meditation and all. Somebody's talking about, there are Ravi Shankar. There are a lot of gurus who are initiating people into that. Now there is nothing wrong in getting started with these isms, but then one has to find a meaning for himself or herself. I think that inner journey is what is really important. There is nothing wrong in these reasons, because that shows that this is becoming very important. People are now very disillusioned, dissatisfied with their life. People are looking for meaning in life. That's why they are all running to different gurus, different swamis, different isms. Nothing wrong in that. I think it simply shows that it's becoming popular. Yeah.
One thing you mentioned about materialism, and there is a perception like materialism and spiritualism are two different things, and maybe a contrasting thing. And with business schools, there is a challenge, like we are preparing people for the industry, for the corporate. We talk all the time talk about materialism, targets and achieving, and then we are talking spiritualism, which is there a contrast thing, or it can be they're coming together?
That's what even some of the speakers here, they were talking as if these are two contrasting things. So either you can be spiritual or you can be materialistic. I mean, it's absolutely wrong, because for me, management education prepares someone for life, not for a living, right? This is my philosophy. So when you prepare somebody for life, money follows automatically. Whereas when you prepare somebody for money and for a living, then what happens is that after a while they'll end up in crisis, and they don't know how to actually handle themselves. In the process, they neither get money nor get peace of mind, so they get into problems. Now, personally, in my case also, I was very competitive, I was very aggressive, and that's how we were brought up from childhood. So I made money, I went after money, went after fame, went after name. I became the youngest full professor at a very, very young age at IIM Bangalore. But then, by then I had blood pressure, I had sugar, I had all kinds of problems. Then I had some disease which they did not know what it was. They treated me for all kinds of things. Finally, I came out. When I came out, I asked a simple question. I mean, what am I doing to myself? I mean, is this worth living? Do I have to really compare and then compete, and is this the only way to really succeed in life? So I went on a search for a meaning in life. So I went to some Christian institution, I went and sat in some of the Swami's discourses, so on and so forth, and then I came back. So after 2.5 years of search, I don't say that I found everything. I found something. Then I changed my attitude, changed my life. Now, I would say this happened somewhere around 1998. In the last 13 years, the money that has come to me is just cannot compare. I mean, 20 to 50 times what I had ever dreamt of. So people just called me to US universities, paid me huge amounts of money, my books became popular, and then this. But then it doesn't give me any kind of a big satisfaction. My satisfaction is I have a message. So I keep conveying it everywhere. I want people to live in peace with themselves. So it's a kind of a mission that I have taken upon myself, and then where I have found out that spirituality and materialism are not opposing things. If you are a little more spiritual, if you are a little more human, then you are accepted everywhere, and then money follows. So it's not that actually you have to run away. But of course it's a karma yoga. Whatever I take up, I do it with utmost devotion, dedication, determination, but without attachment. So I am a visitor here because I have seen death, I have gone very close to that, I have come back from there. So for me, it's an extra life God has given me, so I want to spend it peacefully, I want to be of use to people. This is what spirituality is. I mean, it's not a question of actually running away and then,
So you are a monk who sold his Ferrari.
You can call me that way, but then I'm saying, ultimately, when I go to sleep, I get sleep peacefully. I'm able to sleep. I think that's a lot more important. That day, I have usefully contributed something. I mean, that's what spirituality is all about.
But there is one challenge, like all of us are talking about these good values and the motherhood statements. Nobody disagrees with it. Nobody can disagree. But when it comes to implementing it, the problem is, like, most of the time they turn into just another subject being taught in the college and university system, and again, as you mentioned, that goes to the head, doesn't go to the heart, and nobody cares because there is no method we can ensure that. So what is your solution in this?
See, this is, you don't have to go very far to understand this. Arjuna, asked Krishna, I mean, why me and why should I kill? Now the problem is, but then I can be pure. isn't it? I am not trying to see. If I have been called in to perform a role where there are occasions where I have to kill, you'll have to kill. You do it without passion, compassion. I mean, you don't get into that.
You're not addicted to killing.
Yes, you are not addicted to killing. You are not doing it out of rage or anger or anything. Arjuna was caused to actually fight and kill, and that's your task. And then suddenly becoming very puritanic and then saying that, I will not eat non-vegetarian, I will not do this, I will not do that, I will have to follow so many rituals from morning till evening. Fine, do all of that. At the end of the day, for example, your heart is not pure. If you are
into cult trap.
That is of no use. But you perform your duty. I mean, there are times, for example, I know around me there are sometimes people make money, and but at the same time I have to build an institution. Now the question is whether I am taking money or not. That is very important. I am not taking money. Now if I have to clean up the whole system versus building an institution, there are trade-offs in life. So it is not a question of a black and white. The moment you approach it in a kind of a completely black and white manner, then what happens is life becomes so complex that you start doubting yourself. Are you really spiritual? Are you this, that? There are grey areas, and then you must learn to tread and then learn by your experiences. So it's always very easy to point out somebody. If somebody says, I'm very spiritual, and you can say that, hey, that day you paid money to the TTR to get into the train. Now, are you a spiritual person? How dare you do that? Now, his mother was on deathbed, so he did that. So there are grey areas. I mean, it's not very easy to kind of, say that this is it. But ultimately, your heart is pure, your intentions are good. Fine, there are some situations where you have to kill. You kill, and then that's it's.
So what should be the training model which can be implemented? Because you cannot set a certain kind of rules, and there's no implementable way as such. So is there any model? How can this be implemented in management colleges where students come pretty late in age, and like molding them again and making them unlearn certain things maybe? Is possible?
No, this is a brilliant question. I mean, there is no standard model of actually, training. We can only expose them to the whole idea of these spirituality, etc. Now, the exposure itself is good enough. Age is not a criteria. See, the problem is when they face a crisis, that's when they'll start reflecting on that. In my case, it was my illness, right? Now the question is, there are times actually you are thrown out of job, or your wife leaves and goes away with some other man. Now that's when you start wondering, I mean, what is this life all about? Now at that time, if he has some prior knowledge of some of these concepts, then he will go back and then maybe read Gita, maybe read some of the textbooks, or maybe draw lessons from there, and then he knows how to cope with the situation. It's not that overnight everybody will become spiritual. See, my students, I teach Indian culture, I teach a course on inner development, Indian ethos, yoga, meditation is compulsory. Now, at that age, they hate it. They say that I came here for a job in financial company. I want to do investment banking job. I want a salary of 60 lakhs or 1 crore and so on and so forth. At that age, I mean, if I teach all these things, there is a conflict. There is a problem. But my point is, I always tell them, you came to me fully trusting that I am Ranchi is fully equipped to train you. So I am a doctor, you are my patient. So you better trust us and then take some of these things. So they take it, and then after 5 years, 6 years, when they come back, they say that, sir, one thing that made a difference in my life is that inner development course. Sir, I had a crisis, then I could refer back, and then I was able to come out successfully. Now that responsibility is on you. The initiation of making people to ask these fundamental questions: who am I? What is my mission? I mean, why am I in this world? I mean, what is it that I'm going to do? I think once you get them started on this question,
writing your own vision, mission statements for oneself.
Itself starts making them think about, for example, the spiritual path. So that you cannot separate. I mean, to my mind, I think these two are.
Stephen Covey said that first private victory should be there, then only public victory can be celebrated.
He took everything from Mahatma Gandhi. I mean, a lot of his ideas are from Gandhian ideas. So Gandhi said, win over yourself. I mean, so then you can win the whole world. I mean, that's a fundamental thing. Winning doesn't mean, again, I mean, some people